I'm really lucky to be standing here today because I've got to work with the lovely writers who are sat amongst. And a little while ago, David and I were having one of our chats that we have, and we started to talk about different things that we could do together, and then Ian has also been part of those chats as well. And about a year ago, we had a sleepover at the Octagon, which is one of my favourite things to do, where I get writers to come and stay overnight at the theatre, just for fun. And we stayed up all night, and they wrote a ballad, and we performed it, and it was really long. There was about 35 writers that wrote through the night. It was great, but it was really long. So. But it was really cool, so we thought, you know what, it's 10 years, and I have such a love for David Slack, that I said to him, would you mind if we rocked up and did a little bit of the ballad again? And he was like, yeah, go on then. And so that's what we've done. Writers, would you care to? However, the specification for me was that it wasn't actors that performed it. Because I think there's something rather extraordinary about writers performing their own work. And there's also something rather wonderful about the celebration of the writer's voice, which for me is the best part of my job, I think. However, when I said this to the writers, they laughed. They thought I was joking because I'm a bit eccentric. Oh, she's had one of her funny jokes again. However, I was being serious. And luckily, these brave writers have decided to not only share their wonderful words with you, but also as well their actual voices. So on that note, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to hand you over to... Oh, I'm getting there. It's like I need a prompt. I'm going to hand you over to the youngest of our writers to share the joy that is going to come. Writers are very pushy towards directors, very pushy. To share the joy of the many plays that have come out of the wonderful suitcase that David Slack created 10 years ago. So please enjoy 10 years worth of joyous writing. Josh, over to you.
There's a town in England that is not London to the north. And in this town that is not London, there's an office block, of course. And in this town that is not London, in this office block I mentioned, a man turns to me and asks, how about tea without milk? He says, just try it. He navigates my soul to a black tea and white paper. Please begin to write now, and then you can thank me later. When you see that what we make here are not just plays for friends to see, but opportunities that make moments, that make community, he says, just try it. I finished my one-act play about oppressed lesbian nuns, which he takes his smile a riddle and he admires my sexual puns. Others had written fiction on the effect of elixir pills, and one man on the highs and lows of horny football tales. So thanks, but no thanks. Try again next year. It's easy to be hurt when we fail and are rejected, but step back from lesbian nuns to gain some perspective. We have art in action. We have heart interacting to keep a community alive, beating ever faster. We have tea without milk. And I say, just try it. Woo.
A Geordie playwright finding her feet. 24/7 was the place to meet. Actors and directors who kept her on track, and she met the legend, David Slack. For this was Jo's ultimate dream. Fulfilled by the 24/7 Wonder team, her favourite was the lush Rob Ward, who welcomed her on board, apparently, to Working Progress TC, and we've all made theatre history. That's news to me. The passion of the festival is truly amazing, the love and support, but meeting my best friends has been the best, of course.
A boy was born and believed in. Had faith he could be anything he'd been dreaming. But he couldn't. He had to be sensible. So through cluttered classroom and office space, he acted through life like the rest of his race. But he couldn't. Well, not for long anyway. For the first time in years, he took a risk. When doubters, even those friends, admonished a tisk-tisk. Lonely life, then not, then back again. He had to believe it was worth all this pain, but he couldn't. It was harder than before, until some strangers welcomed him in. To a stage that was no stage. This magical ride. There's people akin, that's certainly true. This world that was hidden from my obvious view. And some days it may seem better to go back to world-weary working for plenty of dough. But he couldn't. Never. Because of this.
I've done plays upon that stage. My first play, my writer's done, a six-handed piece entitled Porn. No tits or bums were on display, so men in Macs were turned away. I've done plays upon that stage. I've made Flag a comic vile. He'd make you swear, I'll make you smile. An offensive man, crude and cruel, not his words, but a writer's tool. I've done plays upon that stage. Ne'er-do-wells gather in a hall. It is their task to paint a wall. There are tears and rows, the job does stall. So in the end, they do sweet fuck all. I've done plays upon that stage. Now I've done 3 and can do no more. So bags now packed, head for the door. No more plays from me, you'll see, and all that's left is the memory. Thank you, David. And how's the knee? I did plays upon that stage.
You didn't appreciate me when I was here. You didn't listen, you wouldn't hear. Now I'm everybody's favourite writer. I am the dead writer. No actor says, my character would never do that, dear. No director's terse note reads, cut, 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 as far as here. No more helpful input from a dramaturg's tin ear. What you're really saying is, well, no one dares to interfere. You can't argue with the dead writer. They didn't appreciate me when I was here. They didn't come, they didn't cheer. Now I'm the audience's favourite. I am the dead writer. Letters, papers, shopping lists, there's nothing they won't exhume. What did she mean? Who was she really? My voice cries from the tomb. You only had to ask. Alive, I sat in the corner of the rehearsal room, silent, silenced. I knew my place under a pall of doom, but everybody listens to the dead writer. I didn't appreciate myself when I was here. Dying was the best thing I ever did for my career. Now I am the dead writer. The lure of company and coffee. Somewhere congenial to meet. It was very nice coffee. It was a very nice bar. But the happy hour was bittersweet. Talk was cheap. I ate my words. Words were all I had to eat. The wine was sweet. The lees were bitter. Now I am the dead writer.
Oh, come, all you mank-right playwrights, whether you're young or old, and tell us the story that has to be told. And when you're exhausted with that last writing session, just press the send button to 24/7. And don't sit there, get writing as much as you can, then edit and hone it. But stick to your plan, redraft it, reread it, bring your spouse in as well, so the plot lines and dialogue are as clear as a bell. Let it rest for a while, though it's driven you mad, and the Key Street readers might say, that's not bad. They'll read it, suggest things, and shape it with you. So whenever it starts light, it'll begin to ring true. So come on, you playwrights, whether you're young or old, and tell us the story that has to be told. And when you're exhausted from your last writing session, just press the send button to 24/7. Then you'll get to auditions, and the terror is real. Just pick who you fancy might have that appeal. The rehearsals will change it, for actors speak free. They forget lines, make changes till the director can see that's just the right move on that line with that voice. And they'll open up spaces which will give her a choice. Swap that word for this one, move that scene to there. Charge that bit of dialogue, and get rid of that bloody chair. You'll see it is teamwork from front stage to front to backstage. Transformed all our scribbles till they fly off the page, with some fairy dust added from lighting and sound. Your dialogue will be rendered sharp, funny, profound. So and tell us the story that has to be told. And when you're exhausted from your last writing session, just press the send button to 24/7.
An actor of note, David Slack, had a vision and never looked back. His 24/7 is touching on heaven with plays that amaze and that crack.
We're doing a play called Detox Mansion at 24/7 in town. It's going okay. We had 12 in the first show. But since then, the numbers are down. The venue we're using is also a nightclub. The seats are all scattered and sticky. The two leading players started off as an item, but now aren't, which is making things tricky. It's Friday, the final day of performance. The writer is flapping his wings. The venue's gone bust. And now we have just half an hour to rescue our things. There's chaos and panic and fear and rejection. The cast all collapse or just fret. When I, as director, begin to take action, as nothing is over as yet. We go to the new space and have a quick run through. The acoustics aren't too bad at all. And even with background hum from the aircon, we all have an absolute ball. The show is intense, and there's fun, and there's laughter. There's even an audience in. The show is the best that it's been since rehearsal, and we all want to do it again. But by then it's over. 1 week and it's gone. The cast say goodbye and disperse. And I think to myself, I might do this again and write all about it in verse.
Just moved to Manchester and writing a few plays. Pretty new to playwriting. Early days. Thrilled to get a reading that David Slack was in, and a festival pass to 24/7, which was a great place to begin. I was well shocked when they picked another script by me, some wordy foreigner new to these parts. Just one example of 24/7 diversity. Did you know they have a program with festivals abroad for writers' exchange? And my play got done in Australia, which has really increased my range. So, next time you meet arts funders, all booted in sharp suits, please ask them if they understand the importance of grassroots.
Right, Matthew. One dark winter's night, I sat down to write at a play at my cold kitchen table. In waters uncharted, my mind swam. It started to question if I was quite able. The answer was yes, because out of the depths I summoned some mystical thoughts. The dialogue flowed like strange binary code, some ones and a series of noughts. Once I had decoded the words and uploaded them, 24/7 came calling. They said, "It's on, show up, July at the Co-op," so the critics can give it a mauling. Or maybe my head was the place that was said, because hearing my soul in totality and the strain of producing the play was reducing my cast-iron grip on reality. Actors and lighting and constant rewriting were themes. It all passed in a haze. Some loved it, some hated it, some people slated it. Then I emerged in a daze. When all said and done, it was massively fun. We sweated, we laughed, and we cried. The next play I write will be blessed with insight from the guts-clenching, mind-stretching ride.
A Dog Called Redemption, Granny Must Die. These were the shows that set my sights high. So I started to write, and I started to pray that my show would be on the list one day. So for years I have strived, been knocked back a few times, but I didn't give up, and the phone call arrived. Could it be? Yes, it is. I've been picked for this year, the 10th anniversary. And then came the fear. A team to assemble, a cast to find, to get 50 pages of script on his feet and alive. With only days to go, sprung from a mighty pen, comes forth Vera Diamond, amongst the perfect 10.
A man came to a shining city like any other and was gifted with a power. And that power was the insight to see the talent that lay in the hearts of the people without the voice to tell the stories that define our time and our world. This man was quietly remarkable, for on the road of his life he found out what drove him, what burned through him every day. He longed to act, to perform, to stand out. And this is his story, without a doubt.
Now there's no NPO, will the whole thing turn shit? Not with old Glass Knees around to sort it. He'll sell his silver cane, his high silk hat, he'll sell his tops, all them Hawaiian ones he's got. They will surely raise the lot. Or, like the olden days, way back in 2004, when there was not but a raffle to start the 7 and the 24, they'll keep it up in coming years. Or next time when July appears, face it, we'd all be bored to tears. And bang goes everyone's careers. I must have plays for me eyes and ears. Cheers.
Hit the mark. Good start. Do I need the loo? Yes, I do. I do need the loo, but I'm just going to push on through. Lights burn. Lights on them. Oh, hello, faces. Poking through from the other side. The nerveless, happy side. There's Slacky with his stick. Did he tell you about... Never mind that. Back in, turn on and fire it out. Did I leave an empty tin of tuna backstage again? And look up there, it's Jackie Corkill from Brookie. She's royalty back home, and this script is dead mucky. Oh, thank God my nan isn't in. Oh no, there she is. Front row grin. And Townsend's bought 2 seats for the opening show, one especially for his wards. Oh my, how they glow. I can see my face in that gold, won't leave it. Never mind. On with a pissing show. Shit. What's the first line?
Shall I compare thee to a writer's scheme? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the boldest writer's dream, but summer's lease gives thought a deadline date. For oft 'tis just when words to stage commit that scriveners may see their work alive. 10 plays and readings, talks and other shit. No festival of writing new so bold doth strive. So, thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor care the ACE doth cease to back. 10 away from home and loaded bends are made, when guts and inspiration will not slack. So long as men can breathe or knees can bend, so long lives this, and may it never end.
Playwrights, whether you're young or old, and tell us a story that has to be told. And when you're exhausted from your last writing session, just press the send button to 20